Hello and welcome to a new episode on Sadhana World Foundation. As you know, we care about crafting young lives. Think of our day to day lives. We run from one task to the other. There are meetings, endless, one after the other. People binge watch their favorite TV shows and movies. Before we go to bed, we endlessly and mindlessly scroll through the social media posts. We really don't know what we have accomplished during the day. More often than not, we are worried that we haven't really achieved anything. We want to get away from that reality, and hence we want to binge watch. Hence we want to endlessly scroll through the social media posts. Do all these sound familiar? Only last year we heard about Anna Sebastian, a brilliant chartered accountant who lost her life. After the event, her mother wrote a letter, and all of us, the whole nation, was gripped with the burnout, the stress that our workplaces are creating on our young talent. What happened? I was just thinking about it. Many of us really spoke about it so passionately. Has anything really changed? Have our bosses been little lighter on us? Have they stopped advising us that we need to be more ambitious? We need to work longer. We need to be faster than the others. We need to be better than the others. We need to achieve really bigger goals in life. And probably many of us understand that we need to do more than what we are doing. That burnout, that stress is real in many of the workplaces that we go to. Forget about the workplaces, it's there in our schools and colleges. There is so much of pressure on our students in schools, colleges, and universities that they are burning out every day. If we really think a little deeper, this is only on the rise. The amount of time that we spend on the roads, the traffic jams that we have to navigate, takes away so much of time from our active life. Where is the time to pursue hobbies? We live in nuclear families, we live solitarily, or we live alone. So, where is the time for someone else who's closely connected with us to really notice that we are burning out? I stopped at this thought and started wondering if this phenomenon is new or this was there earlier and probably the people of the ancient times found other ways. Can we learn from it? The spirit of doing more, the spirit of aiming at loftier goals is not new and should not be. There have been always outstanding meritocratic people who have gone to heights of excellence in their lives, and we all really like them for what they have achieved. How could they achieve this? Why are we burning out? Why so much of stress in our lives? Think of all our traditional texts, ancient texts, whether it is our Hinduism, Buddhism, Stoicism, it doesn't matter. I noticed that all of them talk about something called a rhythm. Work and rest came in a rhythm, like the seasons, like the day and the night. There were festivals, there were other events, there were compulsory rituals that we all performed, which were probably designed to set our life on a rhythm. And today, we have probably forgotten to lead the life of a rhythm. We need to find time to make our life rhythmical with work and rest. Secondly, it's about communities. People lived in gurukulas. People lived in villages. People lived in extended families. Even the artisans had different classes, different shrenis. They connected with people who could relate with what they were going through. They learned from one another. Even the sannyasis meditated and they were teachers at the same time. Why can't we find a mentor, a close friend, a group of other people around us? Why can't we find that amount of trust and rapport among ourselves where we are able to share what's going on in our minds and where we are able to expose ourselves to that close circle where someone else will come and tell us that, hey, something is wrong with you. The third one is Swadharma, the practice of karma yoga, which is there in Srimad Bhagavad Gita. It talks about working intensely, performing one's Swadharma, one's duties, one's responsibilities intensely, detaching oneself from the outcomes. Can we practice that intense work without getting bogged down with the thought of a failure of the outcome? The fourth one is about the practice of stillness, the practice of mindfulness, the practice of doing nothing, the practice of burying oneself in the current, staying engaged with the current, staying silent, being quiet, being observant. Where is it gone away from our fast lives today? Can we bring some of it back? Can we bring silence? Can we bring prayers back into our lives? And finally, the fifth one is about art and nature. Music, dance, poetry, pottery, and so on and so forth don't have to be reserved for the weekends. We have to find the bandwidth to pursue some of these in our day-to-day lives. How do we do it? I don't have an answer, but we have to do it. We can't go back in time, but we can certainly bring the wisdom of the past into our current fast-paced lives. Ladies and gentlemen, my dear children, burnout is not a weakness. Probably it's a plea from within that something has to be done. The world will not slow down for us. We have to consciously make the choice not to binge watch, not to endlessly scroll through the social media feeds, not to jump from one task to the other without any break. If we choose not to seek meaning, then we will follow the path of Anna Sebastian. Let's not go down that path, my dear children and my dear ladies and gentlemen. Let's think how we can create a rhythm, how we can bring the sense of community, how we can bring art and nature, how we can bring stillness into our lives. And of course, how we can practice Swadharma, how we can work intensely with detachment from the outcomes.